G'day, this is Craig, also known as See My Shell, from the Munzee team. I am by myself right now. Big congratulations and happy birthday to Munzee. 15 years, well done. And let's get on to this special. That's right, this is a Munzee 15-year birthday special. Who have we got to talk to in this special? Well, you're going to have to wait and see. But first in line is the man himself, the myth, the legend. Well, he's not a myth. It's the president of Munzee as of today. First and foremost, Rob, happy 15th birthday to Munzee, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I am good. I am not flat today, but I am in the game flat, Rob.
Yes, you are.
You are. The original. The original flat.
Before I ask you any more questions, Rob, if people, this is the first time they've even listened to the podcast, that sort of thing as well, first and foremost, how did you get involved in Munzee way back in the day, mate? Give us that little story again.
Way back in the day, August, mid-August of 2011, so 15 years ago, almost 15 years ago, I was out geocaching, was going out on a long run that was maybe 20 miles from where I lived in North Texas, and looking on the base of a windmill for a geocache, and couldn't find the cache. But there was a QR code that was flapping in the breeze right there, zip tied to the leg of the windmill. Saw it, and QR scanners were kind of new for the iPhone, and so I was like, oh, I've got a scanner, so I scanned it, and it said on there, scan for points. So this was one of the original Munzees, and scan for points was an attractive thought to me. So there was no worries about like, oh, they're going to steal your phone and all your data and your credit cards, because you couldn't even put a credit card on the phone at that point. So anyway, scanned it and was like, oh, wow. Downloaded the app, got the points. This was in the original days of obviously only 5 points each. 3 points for cap-ons on those physicals, those greenies. There were only greenies. And so that day I spent the next 3 hours driving around and earned something like 300 points from capping nearly every Munzee that I could find within about a 15-mile radius. It was crazy. So figured out where the founder of the company lived, Aaron, based on the names of Munzees and the oldest Munzees in the area that I could find. And over the next 3 months, had some communication with him back and forth, some of it about not being able to find some of the Munzees, and he said to me that his daughter, who was like 10, had hidden them, and if I couldn't find them, that I might want to work on my geocaching skills, which was pretty entertaining. So he was a police officer and didn't mind insulting me through message. Good guy. Worked my way into the team. Basically said, hey, I'm a teacher, I want to be a volunteer. They let me come on as a volunteer in June of 2012. So it took me 10 months to convince him that he needed me as part of the team. But when I met him in like September, and I said, do you know what you have here? This is amazing. This could be something huge. I am going to work for you. Told him that early on, and again, 7 months later, after badgering him nonstop, putting out pictures, doing social media posts about Munzee, and helping to grow the game for no reason other than I loved it. So it was a fun start. There's 72 minutes of my history. What else? Just kidding.
Well, mate, you just said then as well, you had this, you saw Munzee being big. You saw what Munzee could be. What was your actual original vision for Munzee, if that's the case then?
Well, I saw it as a business. I saw there being something that could be like geocaching, but better for me, based on the fact that I could take Trey along with me and play this game. At that point, he was 10. Him riding along in the car, I didn't have to take him out on trails. I didn't have to wander through the woods with snakes and all kinds of crazy stuff. I could drive up to locations. We could get out, walk around the parking lot. It was the kind of thing where I could, it was just moving faster. So the speed of it, the points, the competition based, everything about leaderboards and all of that was so attractive to me. In talking to Aaron and the rest of the guys, they built it as this is just a game. Like, here you go. They had no intentions. There were 4 of them. They had no intentions of this turning into a full-time job for them. Yeah. Each of them already had a full-time job. We worked when I finally got to join as a volunteer. We worked from like 9 p.m. to midnight, 3 or 4 days a week. Those were the times that all of us would get on a call, and we would we'd have those chats. So yeah, I saw that there was a chance to do something with this in a slightly different direction than geocaching. They claimed not to have built this with any knowledge of geocaching. I'm not so sure about that. I'm pretty sure that Josh, one of the 4 founders, the brother-in-law of Aaron, was a geocacher, so he had done it before. And anyway, this was geocaching with QR codes instead. Speed was the thing. So yeah.
There you go. So it's obviously been around for over a decade as well, mate. But looking back, what do you think has been the single most, the biggest turning point for you in the game's history since your involvement?
I think for me was actually the very first project that I was tasked with was try and find a way that we could produce stickers. Because back at the beginning, if you think back, anyone who was around, like, you had to print your own, and you used clear tape, and you taped them onto something, or you laminated them and people punched holes in them, and then they faded or they got wet, and they were just done. So my job was to do that, to find a way that we could do the printing. I walked into a couple of places locally trying to figure out, can you print? I need 10,000 individual, unique QR codes, and I want them to be this size. I was like, I want them to be 1-inch squares. And that's the reaction that I got in 3 places. And the 4th place that I went to said, we can't do it, but here's where we buy our stickers. So the actual producer of it, they said they mostly only take business clients. Good luck. Go talk to them. They were 10 miles from where I lived. Walked in, sat down, talked with Steven, and we worked out a way to do it that day. And it was cool. One of the original posts that we did on social media about the stickers, I stuck a sticker to my head and was laid down on top of a pile of stickers because I rolled it out through the length of my house, from my front door all the way through straight shot to my garage door. And it was about 40 feet long, the roll of stickers that I got, and I had to cut them down into sheets of 50. So I stuck one and was like, I stayed up literally all night long cutting stickers so that they could be shipped. We sold 10,000 stickers like in the first day that we had them. So
wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Mate, there's been obviously countless features as well, where in regards to events and collectibles, etc., all across the years itself. Any one decision that you made earlier on that you think that's maybe shaped the direction of Munzee that it is today?
I wish that I could be fully responsible for this one, but I was part of the group and part of the help decision makers, if you will, the virtual Munzee. I mean,
so back in the day when it first started, it was just literally stickers. That's all it was, physical stickers. That's it.
That's it. It was here's these greenies, 5 points, and all that kind of thing. I was instrumental in bringing in the jewel line. So before that, there was greenies and there were mysteries. Bringing in the jewel line, and all of that had come from the fact that we did bring a virtual Munzee in. That virtual Munzee, if you think about it from a business standpoint, what's the cost of a virtual Munzee? A piece of air. It's just coordinates on a map. So if you think about it from that point, that was a big deal. I wasn't solely responsible for that one, but I was for the things that came from that down the line, which led to us splitting the map layers so that you had a physical layer and a virtual layer. And then later, what did we do? We put in the temporary layer. So you've got the cards. Mm-hmm. Then you have the bouncing virtual gardens, and then you can see where the split goes. Yeah. Right. I was at an event in Cologne, Germany, mm-hmm. and there were so many virtuals that had been deployed in that area because of the event. Like, it was going to be 100 people coming together. Mm-hmm. I think that's how many it was. My first trip over to Germany as part of the team, and like, oh, come meet Rob, and it grew. It got really big. I was so annoyed while we walked around Cologne. I'd never been there before. Mm-hmm. So annoyed that I had to walk along with my face in my phone, tapping all the virtuals, because I wanted to give all those players their cap on point.
That's right.
And instead of talking with those great German players that had shown up, they were doing the same thing, because all of these were new. They were new in the area for the event. And so I came home from that trip, and what was born from that? The blast cap. Because I said, I want to push a single button, Scott. I want to push one button, and I want to cap everything. And I don't care if everyone else is allowed to do it, but I want it, and I need it, and I need it fast before I travel again. And he was like, pretty sure we can figure out how to do that.
Do something like
that. At that point in time, Scott and I had an agreement, and the agreement was I would come up with crazy ideas, and it was his job to figure out how do you do it. So...
Was that back then as well, Rob? If that's the case, did you have the fact that they actually disappeared off the map after you capped them, or they just turned to the red check mark as well for you?
Oh, it was really, really, really annoying because they were very, very insanely slow. What we have now, people that use the blast cap, and they're gone nearly instantly now. And it's literal seconds before you get your here's how many points. I mean, I might have sat for a full hour waiting for 100 to be blasted.
Wow.
Way back early on, because our servers were not ready. Our database was not built to withstand the pressure of trying to capture 100 of something at one button push. So yeah, there was a lot of testing. There was a lot of patience. That's the reason, if you go on any of the social groups, Munzee teaches patience. That's been a theme that has run since I took over in 2012. I can guarantee you that. Munzee teaches patience to me and to all the players.
Yeah. Well, speaking of worldwide, Rob, if you're over there as well, are there any moments from past events or player interactions or any milestones, that sort of thing, that you'll never, ever forget in the last sort of, since 2012 for you?
Oh, man. My stuff is all about the events that I've been to, the people that I've met. I mentioned that first one in Germany. There have been so many big ones. There was an event in Germany that had 250 players at it. Like, that's not something that we have been able to replicate again. That's the biggest one, and we've never done it again. They built such a community there, and I've really always enjoyed that. The players that I met that have become team members, we go back to Sam, and Lou was a player.
Yeah.
And she's more than just a team member now. And then through you and through continuing to travel to events, there was Tim. That's been the biggest part of it, is just the people that I've met going and doing that. Another thing that I've always really enjoyed and tried to make happen, and I wish that it was every time, but it hasn't been every single time. When a new player is taking over as number one on the leaderboard.
Oh, yes.
Being there. So, being there when it happens, or shortly after it happens, in order to have that celebration, that's been important to me. Whelan was a punk, and he took over as number one after we completed the event a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
He specifically waited until all of us were gone so that he could do it on the Sunday.
Because he doesn't want the spotlight. Yeah,
he didn't, but we shone it on him the next time that we were all around. That's for sure.
Exactly.
I've always enjoyed that. I did it as a surprise one time in Florida for Arts 5 when he took over. He had no idea that I was going to be there, and I just showed up and was doing a live video and showed people where I was, and the people at the event were like, "Wait a second, that's right there. Like, he's right over there." Yeah, I'd flown in the night before. It was super cool. I love it.
I'm going to talk to Sam very, very soon as well on this episode,
Cool.
on this special too. So I'll ask him about that. I'll ask him about how he met you or whatever as well. So
he was a young lad.
I think he was
when we
9.
met.
I think he was 9 years of age back in 2014. So there you go. I'll ask him anyway.
was cool.
I'll ask him, mate. So there you go, mate. One last thing though, and this is actually a really good question that I could sort of come up with, and that is, if you're going to go back, Rob. You know, people say, you know, oh, if I went back, and what would I know today? But 2012 Rob. Think about 2012 Rob, the actual Rob at 2012. What's one piece of your advice you would give yourself, and what lessons have you learnt along the way?
What lessons have I learned along the way?
Being diplomatic. Being diplomatic here.
There's not enough time. We could do a series on lessons that I have learned, for sure. But I think that what I might go back and say to 2012, Rob, would be focus and stay on a path, not see how many more paths you can find. I won't blame anything on the ADHD. It is a big part of me that helps me in a lot of things, and community building and all of that is a big thing that I'm able to do, and just bounciness. But the focus is not something that is easy for me. That would have made a massive difference, because there are so many side quests that I went on and took the company on that if it had just been Munzee, wow, I don't know what we would have been able to do, because we did spin in so many different directions. But it was part of shiny things and new things, and some of them worked and some of them didn't, and we've learned and we've grown. We're on a new side path with Skydrift right now.
I was about to say Skydrift, explore the world. I know.
Have I learned? Yes. Do I apply all the lessons that I learned? Absolutely not. Just like so many people out there, I'm sure. People can hopefully feel that. But anyway, that's what I would say to 2012, Rob. I would say the same thing to 2026, Rob. Focus. find that path and stay on that path. Where it's at least in the same vein. And I have actually, over the past couple of years, tried to stick true to location-based gaming. That's what we do. We don't build marketplaces. We don't sell sandwiches and beer. We consume those things. We don't sell them.
Like you did in the past.
Side podcast for that one. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Rob, for joining us. I've got other people to speak to as well. So well done, mate. Congratulations. Happy birthday to Munzee. 15 years. Well done. And here's to another 15, mate.
Here's to another 15. Cheers. Thanks, man.
Well. I have Sam with me now. Sam, also known as the Flat Cup. G'day, mate. How are you?
G'day. I'm doing all right.
That's the way. First and foremost, and this question isn't even on there, why the Flat Cup for, mate? What's with the Flat Cup?
Oh, from Cuppersea.
Oh, from Cuppersea. Well, speaking of Cuppersea, so you're the one actually created. People don't know, because some people were brand new to the game, etc. as well. You created the Cuppersea as a separate app to begin with. Tell us more about that. How did you come about creating it, etc., from there?
Yeah, so Cuppersea started building that in sort of middle of 2018, I think. Initially, this was just a tool for my mum. She was organising the Cupper clans, which at the time it was just a group of 3 clans, but she wanted to be able to easily see all the clan stats for those 3 clans all on a single page. And the existing things out there just let you look at one clan at a time, which is a little bit annoying. So built that tool initially for Mum, just with those 3 clans on there, and then eventually, made it better in various ways, to the point that it functioned better from my perspective than any of the other tools out there for looking at clan stats, and expanded it so you could look at other clans, and published it in it might be the Munzee GB group initially, and then Munzee Water Cooler. And slowly expanded its feature set from there. Certainly at this point, Cuppersea's main feature is not the clan stats. It still does that, but I hardly ever go to that.
It's grown, mate. It really has grown. It's grown exponentially now as well. Did you ever think that it actually become part of Munzee, like an actual sister app to Munzee? Probably not, because if you just created it for your mum and that's it, like you would never have thought, the Munzee team is going to pick this up and run with it as well.
Absolutely not. I mean, at the time there were quite a few different third-party Munzee apps. Had Easenum, Munzee.dk, and Munstat, and maybe others that I can't remember at this point. All of them existing, and Cuppersea was definitely at the time not trying to overtake them even, let alone
Let alone get in front of the Munzee eyes and the Munzee world as well, mate. Well, as I said before, it has come on leaps and bounds, and it is part of actual Munzee now as well. Munzee purchased it off you, or something happened there in regards to the Munzee taking over the ownership of it, etc. But Sam, it still is in your capable hands, sir. Absolutely, you are still in charge of it. You are still the Cuppersea man. Everyone knows you for that. Give me one thing, mate. One thing that you're most proud of when it comes to the Cuppersea. Whether is it the Cupper Clan stuff from the very beginning, or is it something new from recently?
All right, this is an easy question. I mean, Cuppersea Gardens, it's absolutely my favourite feature of the whole thing. It's the thing I was most excited to build coming on board the Munzee team, because it just wasn't something that I'd have the ability to do beforehand, and it's just completely changed how gardens work. I've been wanting to do it for years, made various attempts at part of the functionality, but just getting the one-click deploy was, so it really changed it. Not just making it easy to, get the coordinates and, design things nicely, but actually having just deploy with a click rather than, copy your latitude, copy your longitude, paste them in, find the right type, convert it to the right colour, which, half the time you couldn't figure out the right colour of blue.
What Sam is actually referring to, if you're brand new to Munzee and you only know Cuppersea Gardens themselves, you don't understand what Sam has actually created and built when it comes to these gardens. This one-click deploy business in the right spot with the right colours. What Sam basically just said is, we used to have spreadsheets that everyone used to share online going back in the day. When I say back in the day, I was even involved in the spreadsheets, Sam, and I'm not that old in terms of the Munzee world too. So, Cuppersea Gardens, mate, by far to me personally as well, probably one of the best features of Cuppersea to this date itself. But if you had if you had unlimited time and resources right now, what's your next big thing? Do you think it's going to be part of the Cuppersea world?
Oh, that is a tough one. I mean, obviously, as I said, I've built my favourite thing, which is Cuppersea Gardens. But past that, I mean, crazy things I'd like to build. I'd like to get the home screen widgets on Cuppersea. I'd like them to be better. I'd love to make an Apple Watch app, even if just to give me more of an excuse to use my Apple Watch. And what I'd really like is to get some nice page which combines all your sort of progress stuff, so you can see everything you need to do for Gauntlet games, everything you need to do for your daily and your secret Zeop, and your crates, and making sure you get your streaks done, everything in one nice page. Which at the moment, if you need to know, do I need to cap any Zodiacs at the moment? If you see some on the map, you're going past them. Do I need to grab Zodiac? You have to go and check your clan stuff, go and Gauntlet game stuff. Have to go and check, your secret Zeops, your daily Zeops, all that lot. Yeah. I'd love to get a nice page showing it all, but that's a bit of a challenge because it
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it does make a lot of sense because at the moment, myself, I'm obviously on Munzee app itself quite a little bit, but I even forget sometimes I've got to check my daily Zeops and I've got to, that's right, I've still got the secret Zeops I haven't finished yet from like last week or the month before, or, there's some people out there that are running 5 or 6 secret Zeops at the moment, and once a month they'll go and check to see if they've actually completed any of them just randomly. But that'd be a great idea, mate. I really, really like that. But, mate, you've been working now with Munzee for quite some time, after you developed the Cuppersea app, etc. as well. Is there any particular favourite moment you can recall? Like, maybe, because you met Rob when you were... How old were you when you met Rob?
Met Rob when I was 9.
You were 9, and how old are you now?
I am currently 21.
You had to think about it. So you've known Rob since you were 9 years of age, and I do believe there's a photo somewhere as well of you when you met Rob for the first time as well. Was it an event? Tell us more about when you met Rob.
Yeah, this was the London Robbed event in 2014. I don't remember exactly where it was now. I mean, this was too long ago. I wasn't the person organising getting there. So.
So,
Yeah,
in 2014
met
in London.
Rob back in 2014 in London. I met Lou sometime similar time, not at that event. I was in Marlow, and Lou was came up to meet us on her bike, which was quite interesting. I can't remember whether that was before or after I met Rob. I think before, and that was I think before or soon after Lou became a member of staff. That was sort of certainly very early on when Lou was staff, if she was at the time. Then after that, I haven't met any other members of staff since then.
Yeah, not even me, mate.
I haven't met you. Come on, get over to a UK. Mate. But obviously, I've seen Rob and Lou plenty of times since then. Always good to see them.
Yep, absolutely, mate. Outside of Munzee, outside of the coding world in which you live in right now, literally, I feel like whenever I see, I hear Rob talk about Sam or whatever else, all I picture is the Matrix. You know, the green screen with the numbers and the letters rolling down. That's all I picture you as part of the green screen itself. But outside of all that, is there anything else that you do? Any other hobbies? Any other thing that you like to do?
No. No. I mean, I play Munzee and I code stuff, and I do a lot of coding, and that's about it.
So you're not like some sort of secret bodybuilder or tennis player or any of that sort of stuff at all. Literally, it's just Munzee and coding.
Yeah, not at all. Absolutely not. Oh,
and people who have not met you, then that was a little bit of a joke because definitely this is not a video, so it's audio only. And no, he doesn't have muscles upon muscles upon muscles. Just saying. So, Sam, thank you so much for joining us, mate. I do appreciate it. Happy birthday to Munzee. This is a birthday special for them as well, and keep up the good work, buddy. Too. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Wow. Thank you very much for that, Sam. Now we have actually Robbie. Robbie is also known as the Flat Disc Golf. And Robbie, mate, we're going to learn a little bit more about you, buddy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Now, you've been working with Munzee for quite some time now. Roughly what's the length of time we're talking about? And how did you actually get on board with Munzee stuff?
Gosh. That's a whole nother story. I've been working with Rob and the team since... technically like the last bit of 2015, but officially started with them January of 2016. So it's been over a decade now.
And now you've come into one of the actual lead. I call it the lead developers in the Munzee world because you're in the gameplay team, but then again, I think you're mostly doing all the coding stuff as well. What does a typical day look like for you in the Munzee realm?
Yeah, I mean, a typical day for me is coding up something, hands-on keyboard, whether it's new features that are going into the game or trying to track down bugs and fix those. That's mostly where my day is spent. Some bugs are pretty difficult to track down, but others, can be identified and, pretty easily resolved.
And what a lot of players, I tried to explain this, a few months ago now, mate, too. What a lot of players don't realize is the way it works with the coding itself as well. If you change some part of the code and you may add it in a feature, and we all know what Munzee's like with adding features, but as you add that particular feature, something happens with the actual coding in somewhere else, and that's the bug we're talking about. Is that the bug you're talking about when you talk about bugs?
It can be that. It can also just be like unintended consequences, I suppose. So yeah, some of them are because of what in the industry is called spaghetti code, where you change one thing and there's a some sort of impact somewhere else in the system. We've mostly squared those away. It's not quite as bad as it was years and years ago. But now it's mostly unintended consequences or things that we didn't think through all the way during planning.
Oh, okay. So you're actually fixing up all of the issues that were from the past as well. But speaking about the past as well, you've been involved with Munzee for quite some time now, but what's grown, do you think, the most in the years that you've been involved with Munzee, technologically wise? What's actually grown the most for you?
I mean, I didn't come from a background of development at all. So my first kind of look and hands-on experience with databases and structure and stuff like that, coding, was with Munzee and Wallaby technically. But Yeah, so I mean, most of my career here has been growth. Started with just like a simple interest in it, and has evolved over time. A lot of the systems that we've put in, or that I've had a hand in putting in, has been some sort of growth, or like, identifier of growth for me.
Yeah. And what about in terms of challenging stuff? So you've basically started with Munzee, through that sort of period. But what's been, I think, the most challenging thing that you can think of that everyone would say, oh, I can see that part of it now too, like actually in the game of Munzee? Which part is the most challenging for you mechanically wise?
Yeah, mechanically, I think the biggest things were the things that Rob said, that previous developers had said, no, we can't do that. And I said, hold my Dr. Pepper. I'd have to say filtered blasts was probably the one that got people the most excited. And then alongside that was the ability to launch blasts over and over again without having to wait for the one that's in the queue to finish. Those kind of go hand in hand. But I mean, I've been a part of the team for long enough now where if there's some new feature that happened from, I'd say 2020 or so, 2020 to 2021 till now, it's come through my keyboard in some way, shape, or form. Unless it's on Cup of Tea. That's fully Sam.
That's right. But one of the things that actually came through your keyboard, and I know because I was part of the testing team for, I'm talking over 18 months of the testing team, was the VAC, or known as the VAC, or the Virtual Auto Capture Boosters. That was part of the team now for like 18 months to 2 years. Tell us about the VAC and what you did in regards to the VAC stuff.
Yeah, that was another one of those long-time projects that Rob had said that he wanted to get implemented, and it just kind of sat there on the shelf. With the VAC, we didn't really know exactly how to tackle that until I had done work on the blast and some of the changes that we had made with the blast queue and how that works on the backside. All of that went in to give us the first glimpse at what the VAC is now. It gave us the stepping ground. So I was able to take that core concept from Rob and the work that I had done with the team on blasts to get that project started. And then it quickly grew out of my control, and I needed to hand that off to G because I don't do anything with the client. So anything with the mobile application itself, G handles that. So I got it to a certain point, and then he brought it home. But that's a good example of what our development team is able to do.
And that would be, I think, one of the things as well. And if I ask you, like, players often see the most finished product, that sort of thing too, but they don't actually see the journey of it too. That one there being the VAC itself would probably be one of the ones we're talking about there. Would that be the story that you'd talk about in regards to, players seeing something simple and basic, but you're like, hang on a second, I've been working on it for 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, the VAC is a great example of that. I mean, there's been so many different examples to share about like where the journey of a product goes. I think the VAC is probably one of the longer ones. Most of the other things that we add, whether it's complex or not, gets implemented relatively quickly. The upgrade to version 2 took a long time to get implemented, but it was a complete back-end rewrite. But the VAC is probably one of the biggest projects that went from like simple on paper, push button, make do, capture things like that idea, to where it is now is definitely one of the biggest changes from simple on paper to complex to actually get implemented. But then alongside that, pretty much anything that we do with destinations, the OG destinations like motels, hotels, resorts, anything with that is a nightmare to implement.
Well, you got so many different rooms to consider as well in the different parts of, and when it comes to motels versus hotels, and when one room goes, another one comes in. There's a lot to work with, absolutely a lot to work with. But you've worked closely with the actual development and the gameplay teams, as I said at the start as well. How do you balance the difference between when you come in with these ideas, etc., but then you sit down and actually got to make it reliable, for thousands of players out there too. So you're the one behind the keyboard from there.
Right. Yeah. So G has been such a great lead and aspect of our team. He's ensured that that we're able to remain scalable, or at least as scalable as possible when we have upcoming features. He holds really the stability of Munzee in his hands, and so I want to start by just saying like props to him, because he's allowed a lot of the gameplay team to really just kind of dream big, not have to worry as much as the scalability and the back, behind the scenes stuff that players don't have to worry about. We really don't have to worry about that as much. So I started all of that by saying like the role that I get to play here, not only in development but with gameplay, is almost like a gate that kind of keeps ideas and reality separated. And so as we're coming up with ideas as a gameplay team, a lot of things get brought to me, a consultor, I guess, and say, hey, what do we think about this idea, Robbie? Can you implement this? And most of the time I'm able to give a realistic yes or no. And sometimes I, run with it from there, and the idea morphs, and we're spitballing things back and forth. And this really simple idea has now become something more complex. Like, I'll give a quick example here. Way back in the day, we had this credit called Z Creds, and we were going to phase it out and needed a way to do that. And so we were like, well, why don't we allow people to use that to redeem these, credits or Munzees with that credit? And it was just a way for us to kind of sunset the Z Cred credit into something else. And ultimately, that ended up changing to what now as the Redeem store. So little things like that. It's really fun to see, ideas morph, and that starts with just the creative heads that are on the team.
And there are some absolutely creative heads on the gameplay team too, and they're coming up very soon in this episode too, in this special. But meanwhile, Robbie, looking into the future now, so you've got a little crystal ball there / computer monitor, etc. as well. The technologies that are at the moment. There's AIs coming in a lot. There's the augmented reality came in a while ago too, and other games like Pokemon Go, all that has picked up all that sort of stuff too. But what do you think? Is there anything, without giving anything away, is there anything at all that you think Munzee may or may not come up with or utilize some sort of technologies in the next few years or so?
Yeah, as far as like player interaction, I'm not quite sure. AR or augmented reality was kind of a hot topic about a decade ago. That's when Pokemon Go came out. It's crazy. They just had their 10th anniversary, which is wild.
Wow.
They're the little bro on the block here. But anyways, aside from that, it's hard to say. That's one of the fun things about being in this industry, is we don't really know what's coming around the corner. People were asking me 2 or 3 years ago if I was worried about AI, and I was like, no. Have you seen the stuff that AI does? Like, I'm not worried. But now it's like it's actually a really great tool when used properly. So on the back end, it can help us write tests, and it can help us with implementing some things just from like part of the development sequence, which players may or may not ever be able to see. But as far as being implemented into the game, I don't really know if there's a good fit there. Maybe something with onboarding or training players like how to play, maybe. But outside of that, I don't really know. But I'm looking forward to seeing like what comes down the pipeline, because other people's development in the industry helps give us ideas for what we can do for Munzee.
Absolutely. So you think you're thinking something like a cappy, an AI cappy comes out of your screen as like you see on Star Wars or whatever, and stands there dancing around and showing you how to play the game.
like Clippy, the Microsoft paperclip.
Yes, yeah.
Something
poor
like
old
that.
Clippy, he's gone.
I don't know.
I know.
I think more so because Munzee's been around for enough time. There's still certain areas on the map that just don't have content. So if you come in as a new player, there's nothing for you to engage with. And we've tried our best to try and give some of those starting points. But, who knows, maybe AI or a way of us building a system that better helps players get into the game would be useful.
It would be, mate. Just before you go as well, you also are part of the. You actually are the flat disc golf. That's your flat. Quickly give us a reason why it's a flat disc golf.
Yeah, it's actually a flat disc golf basket. It's
the basket. The basket. The basket.
Yeah, it's the goal that if you're playing disc golf, you want to try and get your disc or your frisbee into that in as few of throws as possible. I've loved disc golf for many, many years. I don't even remember when I started playing, probably around 15 or so. And it's been something that's been consistent in my life, though I've had, time in and out of the sport. I don't know. We changed from being like personas, like, flat Rob, flat Matt, flat Lou, to flat items, which was also an item that I had, or an idea that I had pitched to the team, so that more team members could actually be, brought in. We could continue the flats line without having to worry about it. Well, what if Dylan leaves the company and now his flat, we don't have to worry about that with the flat items, because those can be very quickly changed. So disc golf basket represents me to that regard without it being just a flat Robbie. But yeah, I really love disc golfing, and if you haven't given it a chance, it's made for everybody.
Look at you spruiking the flat disc golf.
Yeah, absolutely. I've taken my daughter disc golfing, and she's enjoyed it. My dad goes disc golfing with us, and it's a great time to get the family out. And you know what? You can play Munzee while you're disc golfing, which is also
this is true.
You can great.
You can place, and now you can place, your own greenies and cap your own greenies too. So you can place your own greenies with permission, of course, on the disc golf baskets as you go around. See, there you go.
You definitely need permission to do that. For sure.
That's right.
But the virtual aspect of Munzee is definitely doable. Yep.
All right, Robbie. Thank you very much, mate. And by the way, happy birthday, happy 15th to Munzee, and I'll see you on the next gameplay meeting, buddy.
Perfect. Cheers.
Now online we have Minnesota boy, also known as Tim. G'day, mate. How are you?
Hey, going great here in Minnesota, Craig.
That's the way. So you're in Minnesota. Tell us a little bit more about Minnesota boy, if people haven't heard of you or from you.
Yeah, I am born and raised here in Minnesota. Have lived in the Twin Cities metro area my entire life, and haven't had a reason to leave here. Found Munzee because of geocaching. I think that happened for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was listening to a geocaching related podcast, and they talked about Munzee, and boom, I was in.
Nice. So up in Minnesota. Now, rumor has it, Tim, that you actually are the player who placed the very first Munzee in Minnesota itself, in the state of Minnesota. Is that true?
That's correct. I placed the very first Munzee here. It was a greenie at the time.
Yeah.
It is still available in downtown Minneapolis. It is called Minnesota's First Munzee. And it has been there all this time. I've replaced it a few times over the years as they've painted over it on the fence and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's still there, and it still gets capped once in a while.
Now, the other rumor, there's a second rumor too, Tim. The second rumor is that you, sir, have been playing Munzee longer than our president, Rob. Is that got any validation or truth to it?
That is absolutely true. My account is older than his. I believe it's by a month or two, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's something that we figured out a few years ago when he was at an event here in Minnesota. And I was like, oh, my account is older than yours. That was a fun thing to find out.
Mate, since you've been in the game for longer than anyone else, give us something that how the game has changed in your mind, like from the very beginning to what you see nowadays in terms of Munzee wise. What's the difference between the two?
I think that the biggest difference is when I first started out. Of course, it was only greenies. You had to scan a physical QR code, and for the most part, those greenies were also a lot of them being handmade. We didn't have the nice vinyl stickers available from Munzee that we have now, and so you were out making your own and putting them out, and there wasn't that many to find. So gaining points and moving up leaderboards was a slow process, but it was for everybody. So yeah, from that, and then virtuals being added, and Of course, all the different things. I mean, if you're involved in Munzee now, you know how many different things there are, and how many more. Now that I'm on the inside, how many more I can see coming ahead.
Exactly.
And there's just constant ideas and constant updating of the game. But one of the great things about Munzee, Craig, is that you can be a new player and you can jump in.
Yeah.
And you can just play so simply.
Yes.
You can just go and find QR codes and scan them. You can get close enough to the virtuals to cap them. And if that's all you want to do, you can play the game that way.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about all the ins and outs of everything that goes on. You can just play the game very simply. Or you can take a deep dive and get involved in all of the different levels of the game, not only on the game board, but just with scatters and bouncers and gardens, and it just goes on and on and on. So you can play it very simply.
The gauntlet games as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So were you around before they even had clan wars as well, Tim?
Gosh, I participated in some of the very early clan wars, like because they were numbered before. I think they're still being numbered. But and if you go look back at my history, I participated in some of the very early ones. I think I might have missed out on a few of them. Yeah.
But other than that, though, you joined up that early. That
very early,
very early indeed, mate. Having experienced Munzee then for so long itself, and now you join the team as well. You touched on the difference between a player versus an employee. Give us any other information that you found now that's different from being now you've got to look on the inside, mate. What's anything different?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's different playing from the inside. As you know, Craig, being on the team yourself, you have access to information in the game. You also have access to game pieces that come your way at a much easier price point. So that's why you and I and Rob and other players, other people that are members of the team are not on the leaderboard, because it's a different game that we're playing. It wouldn't be fair for us to compete against players.
Correct.
So we just compete against each other, which we have a great time doing. I'm currently trying to chase Rob. I don't think I'll ever catch you. You are constantly beating me every day. I can see it in our in the gauntlet games. I can see it. I can see what you're doing every day, and I most days I can't keep up with you, even though you're seemingly on the farm every day. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. I tell you now, if people want to know, have a look at my area. I'll just say that. If you want some tips and tricks, you look at some of the big players. You look at W. Helen. You look at Colecracker 7, Munzee Prof, and myself and Tim. Have a look at the big players and see what and how we can cap and what we cap and where it is. Well, have a look at our maps, because I tell you now, Tim, I call it building your own nest, whereby you can build your own nest without actually you placing too many of the virtual Munzees yourself. You know what I mean? So you swap with other players, so therefore you share the points amongst everyone, you see, because you're not going to get the cap on points, so you might as well share them amongst your friends. So there you go. Yeah. Very, very cool indeed.
Yep, you got to build it up.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Rob, see, I told you I was going to say it. I told you I was going to say it. I did it. But you've obviously seen the eras of Munzee, I'm going to call it, like from first hand. So you said before, when you first started out, it was literally, tell us about your printing of the QR codes, and that's all it was, to where the introduction of the virtuals, to introduction of all the bouncers and all that. What was there any particular one feature or moment in Munzee that really stands out for you in all those different eras and timeframes?
Yeah, for a big moment for me personally was the first time that I was able to get over 1 million points in one day. And I know that players are still excited about that goal today, to get that badge, that 1 million points in 1 day badge. I was out in Los Angeles. You were there. Geocaching Vlogger was there. Rob was out there as well, of course. And we were going to the big events in LA, and I spent a whole day by myself walking around capping while you guys were doing other things.
I do remember.
And I was not on the team then, so I was paying for my own blasts and having to do a lot of hand capping to try to save money. And I worked all day long to try to get to that 1,000,000 points. And it took me all day because it was right up to that evening event when I finally got there.
Well, I still remember, I was doing some filming in that with Josh, and I look over, and there you are walking the perimeter of the park, like by yourself. But you had your backpack on, and you had your cord as well from your secondary battery to your phone, and you were just head down. You didn't even see that we were there. Like, you just head down, whack, 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 and just cupping as you go along too. And that's what you have to do in order to get those, especially the 1,000,000 points. And again, I'll say this to anyone who's got a millionaire. And congratulations, well done. It is hard work. I still remember my first millionaire, and that was before I was involved in Munzee, and it cost me a little bit of money in Blast as well. I was in Florida at the time. And so you go to a new area, and that's where you can cap it. But that's another reason why there's that millionaire badge that everyone's so proud of as well too. So well done, mate. Well done. Anything else in regards to the eras of Munzee that you'd like to maybe even see come back, for instance, that you played before?
One of the things we used to have involved with Munzee is Eventsy, and a lot of players probably remember what it is, but if you're newer, you probably don't. It's another scavenger hunt thing that Freeze Tag has available, and it's used in other ways called Town Truck. And other communities use it for scavenger hunts, but we used to have it as Eventsy involved in events. Like, we could do Munzee Mania here in Minnesota. We go to the Mall of America, set up an Eventsy all around the mall. You could go around there and you have to find certain things, answer certain questions about what you see, and then you gain points and you try to beat other players. Sometimes it was a speed game. How fast could you do it? I would love to see that come back, and I think we've talked a little bit about it within the team, but I don't know. It's not quite there yet as being a full thing that we can use again at events, but maybe soon, I hope.
Well, maybe is a possibility. We did, I remember it did make a comeback to a certain degree in California this year as well. And
that's correct.
We always know that Rob and the team utilized California quite a bit in that first big event over in California as a testing location as well, with Cappy and the what do you call it when you do the daily strolls and all that. We did all that testing over there before we released it to the rest of the world as well. So it's a possibility, Tim. It's a possibility.
I hope so, because it is a fun thing to add into Munzee events.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that, Tim, as well. And happy birthday. Happy 15th birthday to Munzee. Happy 15th birthday to you too, Tim, because you've been playing since the since the very first year as well.
Yes. Happy birthday, Munzee. And I'm excited for all the stuff we're doing this month. All the stuff going on with the mailbox and the extra points available, and but we have there's so many things glowing on the map right now.
Absolutely,
in bright colors.
And if you want your own Minnesota Boy signature as well, don't forget he's part of the shipping team and production. So make sure you go online, order your stickers, etc. as well. And you never know, you may get a nice little autograph from Minnesota Boy.
Or catch me at an event. I'll have all that product there as well.
Absolutely. All right, thank you so much, Tim.
Munzee on.
G'day. We've got Dylan. That's right. Dylan, also known as the Flat DHS. G'day, mate.
Hey, how's it going? Guys, girls, all listeners of all kinds, unicorns.
It was the one listener that actually does listen. So there we go.
Hopefully Rob will listen back on this at least.
Oh, well, in that case, then we might say anything too bad about him. But anyway, mate, Dylan, give us a little bit of a rundown. If people don't know who you are, what you do, a little bit of a rundown of what you do at the moment in regards to Munzee stuff.
Yeah. So my name's Dylan Derryberry. I'm the creative director for all of Freeze Tag, but Munzee in particular. And I've been working here for, I guess, just over 12 years now. And so I as the title might suggest, I deal with a lot of creative ideas and particularly wrangling all of our gameplay team into making ideas that are actually followed through on and trying to keep somewhat on theme. And then I work with our artists to bring those to life. And ideally, the development side holds up their end of the bargain too. And I joke, but most of the time they're waiting on artwork for stuff. So,
but mate, you just said as well you've been in Munzee or working with Munzee as well for a number of years.
I have.
You've done a lot of things, not just creative directive stuff. What did you do in the beginning up until now?
Yeah, so ironically, 12 years ago when I first got started, I was a journalism student who had been out of school for a couple months and was not getting a lot of success working as a reporter. So I found Munzee, and they had listed that they needed a blogger And when I showed up for my interview, they told me they absolutely didn't need a blogger, but they liked me well enough. And I joked that a coffee interview turned into lunch, and that turned into a job offer to be a blogger, but also manage the Munzee marketplace, which was just being sprinkled about back in 2014. And so luckily my career was much longer lasting than the Munzee marketplace. But from there, I did a fairly lengthy stint running Eventsy before its big makeover. Have been kind of jumping between creative and leadership roles and just kind of managing all of the big personalities on this team. And I've been the creative director for, gosh, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. It all blends together. But again, we're such a small team that titles don't necessarily mean a lot, but it helps to, I think it helps us divvy up our responsibilities to be able to tag a title to it anyways. I mean, they're so made up that my first original title was Master of Media. And then I realized that doesn't look as cool on a 36-year-old's resume. So I tightened it down a little bit.
Maybe a 16-year-old, mate. Maybe a 16-year-old.
And there's arguments to be made that I'm a perpetual 16-year-old. So
This is true. And if you've seen anything to do with your house and how it's dressed up every single season, we'll put it that way, and go from there. But Dylan, you basically just said then you've been around for a while, etc. In regards to the creative directing side of things, and obviously this is going to involve, technology as well. But what have you seen in regards to the Munzee side of things from back in the day as a creative compared to now in terms of their artwork or the character, their campaigns, all that sort of thing too?
Yeah. So, if you can imagine, the creative direction of the game has always been a passion of mine. And I think that as we've seen design trends come and go, I've tried to kind of hone us in on what's a bit more modern. And I think it's been a huge goal of mine to kind of really hone down our art style in the game. And our kind of head artist, Andy, has been very helpful in that process. But one of the big things, I mean, heck, it's been a couple of years now, but when we kind of put together the Cappy rebranding, that was a big project for just trying to hone in a lot of the creativity of Munzee and kind of trying to polish it up a little bit, because we've had so many artists over so many years. It's a very eclectic game. So, just trying to not only make everything kind of look like it all belongs together, but also make it so that when we do have other artists come in and help us out, it's kind of easier to jump into that style.
Absolutely. Well, if that's the case, then with regards to style and stuff as well, Dylan, where do you personally, as a creative director, draw your inspiration from when you're doing like either new bounces or new gauntlet games, weapons, that sort of thing too? Where do you actually draw your inspiration from, or is it just actually in that fancy mind?
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on in the fancy mind for sure. I think that there's the artistic answer and there's the company answer. And they blend together a little bit. I think we're always drawing inspiration from the things we see around us, obviously, particularly the things that don't come with copyright infringements. So we're always looking at the classics. We dabble obviously a lot in like mythology and things like that, particularly when we started bringing Cappy's world to life. Obviously, we're looking at a lot of fantasy and kind of broad strokes and dragons and swords and shields and all that sort of stuff. But there's also this tongue-in-cheek aspect of Munzee that I think we're constantly trying to, play with as many Z puns as we can. I think that it's not like we're trying to delve into like My Little Pony or anything, but obviously we have a very cute small unicorn helming this adventure of ours. So we're constantly trying to balance also audiences of, male, female, older and younger, and just trying to find a balance of cute and fun and funny. And I like to think that we've been able to accomplish that. That being said, we also throw literally ourselves into all of this, with the flats and Flat Rob and Flat Lou. I mean, again, there's so much going on that when we kind of sat down to try and add a story to it, it was certainly a Herculean task to bring it all together.
Absolutely, mate. And you've done a really good job of that, I will say, because I mean, yeah, from the adventures and from it used to be obviously the clan weapons and stuff too, into the flats and the personalities and whatnot too. So, but speaking of flats and personalities, you were known as the Flat DHS.
I am.
Give us a reason and what does DHS stand
Yes,
for?
DHS again would be a play on VHS tapes. Those large plastic things that you used to put in televisions in order to play movies. I'm a 90s kid who probably should have been an 80s kid. So I love all things physical media, retro media. I'm huge into movies, and I actually minored in film. And in a different world, I probably would have pursued that. But Munzee pays quite a bit better, so I'll stick with that.
And more reliable.
100% more reliable, which is funny. You know, I've got my so again, I've been working here 12 years now, and it's pretty much been my sole adult job, and I keep thinking like there's just no way that we're going to be able to do this another 10 years. And I mean, we've made it this far. At some point I can't say that this small team, this independent game isn't reliable, because I've seen a lot of other games with bigger names and publishers come and go. So there's some staying power to Munzee, and I think, you know, the flexibility of, again, trying new things and throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks is a big part of that.
Absolutely. And I think as well, in regards to Munzee stuff, it's very, it's always moving. It's forever moving. It's forever evolving as well. And giving an evolving sort of style, what would you think in terms of future-wise I'm talking about now? So, you know, we're looking ahead another 10 years from now. Where do you see the trends in the gaming industry, especially with Munzee, in either design, technology, any of that sort of stuff as well? Where do you see Munzee in the next few years, mate?
Well, it's really interesting because I not to be a downer, but I think it's a very tough time in the gaming industry right now, particularly in what, you know, might be considered more traditional gaming. That luckily, I don't think Munzee is traditional gaming. I think it's a unique niche. We have a unique gaming audience that, again, has been proven to show up over the last, 15 years now. So while I do think that the gaming industry in particular is hitting a bit of a wall, continuing to do things out of the ordinary is what's going to, continue to make Munzee unique. Obviously, there's a handful of other games out there that include geolocation and getting outside, but I like to think that we add a quirkiness side to that kind of ever-evolving genre of gaming. So again, I think just trying to stand out a little bit more from the tech side. I'm certain somebody on the team will talk about AI and, just the technology of where that comes into play. I tend to be less bullish on AI. I do think there are some limitations that we'll see over the next few years. So we don't want to become too dependent on it, particularly in terms of replacing artists and things like that. But that being said, a very small team with limited resources. We have been able to utilize some AI tools from just a management perspective and how we're organizing our games and stuff like that. And I think if I truly see kind of a future path for Munzee is, and I'm certain various members of the gameplay team and, the player base itself would agree or disagree, but I kind of see Munzee exploding into different areas and really harnessing it on the Munzee brand, which again is so eclectic. I would love to see companion or new games based on Pack Rats or Whittles or Clan Wars app on itself, and maybe those do different things than Munzee currently does, but still utilizing geolocation, but taking some of these aspects of Munzee and bringing them into their own things. One, so again, our world just continues to grow, but also to maybe make it an easier onboarding process for people who, join Munzee and they're like, dragons, stick people, wars, what in the world is going on here? I think it can be a lot. So I'd really love to see us grow the Munzee brand, but also, be able to introduce people into smaller pockets of it.
Nice.
And I want more mini games in our game. I think there's a large enough portion of the player base that pushes it back against mini games, but I'd love for you to be able to do things with Munzee, even if there aren't a lot of Munzees around you, or if you're sitting on the couch and stuff like that, to still have aspects of the game that you can interact with.
Very much like Skydrift,
Yes,
Explore the World.
yes, exactly.
The new app there developed by the Munzee team as well.
Well,
So that sort of thing too. Nice.
And I can't take a lick of credit for anything on Skydrift. That has been Rob and Scott's kind of brainchild. I think Robbie's helped out, Sam's helped out. So, and again, I think that's a unique adaptation of what a geolocation game is. It's not necessarily requiring you to get outside, but there's a location-based aspect and a real-world aspect to it. So, again, I think those are the types of things that are thinking outside of the box, because who on paper would want to, play a game where they send a hot air balloon, days away, and then you don't interact with it until it comes back? But it's this niche aspect that I think people really... we live in a ever-evolving world that makes it easier and faster to communicate with one another. And there's arguments to be said that maybe we don't need to be moving that fast. Maybe we do need to slow down and enjoy things and work for things and be a little more patient with our entertainment. So, again, I like the Skydrift stuff. I think it's fun, again, and that, not to dive too deep into the development of that project, but that project had a quick turnaround time compared to some of the stuff that we've been working on. And so it's cool to see our development team being able to utilize tools and get stuff out faster. So it lets us do more things. But yeah,
exactly.
Here's to another 15 years, right? I'm sure we'll come up with
exactly.
Happy.
That's right. Happy birthday, Munzee, as well. And thank you very much, Dylan. The Flat DHS, you heard him here first, if this is the first time you're listening. So there you go. Thank you again, Dylan. And get back to your creative brain.
I will. Birthday month is in full swing. Ironically, one of my first projects when I started working at Munzee in 2014 was for the third birthday. So I've been fully focused on Munzee's birthday for 12 years now. And hopefully I get at least another 12.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Dylan. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Well, I have none other than Mari with us. G'day, Mari. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Listen, before we start, if anyone doesn't know who you are, what you do, etc., give us a quick rundown of Mari in the Munzee world.
Sure. So I'm one of the product managers for Munzee. Do a little bit of everything, but help out quite a bit on project management overall, and putting together the designs and then working with the team to kind of bring those designs to life and test through everything, get all the artwork hooked up, and have everything working before it gets out to all the players. Yeah.
Nice. And when you're saying in regards to the team as well, you are part of the gameplay. You're probably what I would say the head of the gameplay team. So when you're designing like new features in that for Munzee, etc., is there any sort of process or anything that goes through your mind, for instance, that you have to achieve this or achieve that, etc., before it goes at least to the players?
Definitely, yeah. Well, with each feature, it depends kind of what we're working on, but we do try to balance, a mix of updates. So we want to provide like fresh, fun gameplay, but then also balance like quality of life improvements that make things easier, quicker, better for players to do. And then, of course, also need to continue to drive, revenue so that we continue to keep the game up and running for you guys. But in general, I guess with each feature, we kind of obviously start with brainstorming. A lot of people on the team have fun on the gameplay team, throwing out crazy, wild, fun ideas, and then we try to rein things in, play until something sticks or clicks. And then we kind of discuss, who is this feature for? What is it trying to accomplish? And then we went through, the design, whittling it down a little bit, polishing it to make sure it makes sense. Continue to simplify as needed, and then running these ideas by the devs and try to get their opinion, if it's functionally possible, if there are any roadblocks or challenges we need to think through or tweaks we need to make. And then, those considerations are taken into consideration for the test plan to make sure as we're testing through the features that are being set up, it works as expected. We're catching any any gotchas or edge cases here and there, and then of course looping all the way into artwork and reviewing just the overall idea with them, giving them reference images. We can start to swap out, the placeholder images that we have with the cool, fun artwork that you guys see for Candy and everybody else. And then, of course, going through quality assurance, testing through the features, make sure everything all together is behaving as expected. And, if there are any unforeseen issues or edge cases that are happening as we're testing through, and then, all the way to the final bits of what you see coming out through social media, prepping all the blogs and social, and then having everything to go along with all of that. So all of that goes into, putting everything together for a whole new feature.
That is a lot. And you said before, you start off by saying in regards to the balancing sort of side of things too. Now, my question would be that, you do a good job of the balancing, but how do you actually balance that creating the content for new players, but at the same time, I won't call them old, I'll call them veteran players, to keep them like challenged and engaged in the game itself? How do you balance between the new and the veterans?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely really important to consider, and there might not be, every single feature that encompasses both. There might be a feature that's specifically focused for new players, or there might be a feature that's specifically focused for our experienced or veteran players. But if there's like a big whole new feature we are introducing into the game, we do like to consider both sides, make sure it encompasses everybody. So, for example, like you try to design a game loop that has more than one loop, so it keeps returning and veteran players engaged. For example, like the Daily Stroll was something completely new, and Wishing Wells and everything, and that was initially created, designed for new players to find, to give them something to get started with, especially if there's nothing in their area, and just providing them some repeatable gameplay to bring them back to the game each day. But then, of course, then we expanded to the idea of whittles, to give all players something to do to continue to visit those wishing wells and collect those stars. And then in that sense, that created another game loop, because adding whittles, once those archive, those award twigs, which are used to redeploy pack rats, which our veteran players have been used to playing with and collecting. And then, that created another game loop as well, because as pack rats are archived, those award cogs, which puts more resources into being able to redeploy mech. So you can see, trying to create multiple game loops to give everybody something to do in that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And player feedback in this game is an absolute key as well, as part of the Munzee evolution itself. But can you provide an example or a feature, for instance, in your mind personally, whereby because of community feedback or player feedback themselves, something has actually significantly changed? I think it's from the community credits more than anything else.
Oh yeah, definitely. Community credits has been a great way for us to be able to get more feedback from players, especially like what we're doing coming up with bonus events or larger changes or new updates or features that we're focusing on. Some larger changes that happened in the past, like the decision to separate the physical and virtual layers, and then continuing to expand additional layers onto that. Or, for example, the larger change we made from being able to recapture certain Munzees every single day, like greenies. Another one, for example, was like streak rewards, and continuing to want to give players more value in their streak rewards, so that they feel like the time they're putting into keeping up their capture and deploy streak each day is worth the rewards that they're getting. So, for example, we've continued to expand on adding like daily activity tracker, and then introducing things like, apart from streak badges, or in addition to streak badges, the whole idea of streak bouncers. And the first time we initially added those into the game, players were really excited, and they seemed to enjoy the ability of collecting these different skins each month for their bouncers. But as we continue to near the end of the year, we're hearing players go, we're going to be bummed that we won't be able to continue to use these streak skins. So that's why that idea kind of evolved into, well, let's give players an opportunity to be able to keep a permanent streak bouncer into the new year, so they can continue to use their streak skins. So you can see that's continued to evolve to continue to give players more value for the time and the bounces that they're working and earning and everything.
Nice. Now, without giving any secrets away, Murray, I don't know you wouldn't. I mean, Rob does. Rob does on the podcast. He gives secrets away all the time. But with you, what excites you the most in regards to the future of Munzee? Like, what do you see in regards to the gameplay? And what are you more eagerly to explore in regards to the gameplay stuff?
Gosh, there are so many wild, crazy, fun ideas that we've been exploring. So I think it's hard to pinpoint just one. And I know everybody has been, leaning towards their favorites here and there. But I think one that has always kind of excited me was, the idea of potentially finding more Munzees in the wild, or what if potentially any QR code has potential to become a Munzee, or draw activity. So it gets you scanning a little bit more out in the wild to see that random QR code, or is that a Munzee QR code? So potentially some exciting ideas, but more hopefully to come.
Nice. Nice. You heard that. Rob hasn't said anything about that. I'll just let you know that. Rob hasn't said a word about that sort of stuff. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Now, Murray, I'm going to end it right here on one more question. And this was actually a question of the week last week for the Munzee podcast. And that is, why are you, ma'am, not part of the traveling troops?
I did actually see that question pop up. Honestly, it's because I'm too shy to ever pitch putting myself into the game. So unless somebody else pitches it, it most likely won't happen. So yeah, I enjoy working on the design and helping with the design of all the characters and everything, but I definitely do not end up pitching myself. So that's probably why.
I did see as well that because you are the flat cat,
Yes.
you got the two cats themselves. What are your two cats' names?
Benji and Burr.
Benji and Burr. So you got Benji and Burr, and that's the reason why you're the flat cats. And part of the traveling troops, there already is a lion tamer, so there's like a cat tamer per se. So
exactly,
we'd have to find something else for you that's that sort of themed. That's
exactly. Yes.
That's it. Now I'm going to make it my goal, Murray, just to let you know in the next gameplay meeting to have you involved in the next traveling troops. Just saying, you heard it here first, everyone. So there you go.
Thank you so
much, Murray. Thank you for all that you do in regards to it as well. And also, I'm telling you now, from a player's point of view, Rob says it all the time on the podcast, and that is Murray is the reason why you get so many free and good stuff, especially like in the mailboxes and stuff like that too. Murray's the reason for it. So there you go. Thank you again, Murray, and happy 15th birthday to Munzee.
Yeah, happy 15th birthday.
Thanks again. Bye. So there you have it. Happy 15th birthday to Munzee. Well done, Munzee itself. And here's to another 15 years. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all the team that actually, that's not all the team, but there's a lot of the team that we did tattoo today. Dylan, Mari, Rob, Robbie, Sam, Tim, thank you so much for spending some time with me and letting the public out there know exactly who you are and actually get to listen to your voice as well if you haven't actually met them in person. So well done. But more importantly, thank you to the players and to the listeners as well of this podcast. Without you, we wouldn't even have a game. So again, thank you. Here's to 15 years, and here's to another 15 years as well. So this is See My Shell. As always, I'm over and out. Thank you again, Munzee. Happy birthday.